Hi, my name is Marta, and I am the chef and author of senseandedibility.com. I am happy to be joining you on this episode of my Pasteles making series. Today we are going to be talking all about fillings. I'm going to show you how to make 3 different fillings to use in your pasteles that you can make yourself. 3 different fillings that can accommodate all types of people, whether they eat pork, whether they don't eat pork, or whether they don't eat meat at all. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and sign up for notifications so that you can be notified when I post the next episode in this Pasteles series. In the meantime, let's get into how I make 3 different fillings for my pasteles. We're gonna start with the chicken filling for your pasteles. All the fillings begin the same way, and that's usually with taking a certain cut of meat and dicing it. Now, for me, I always use boneless, skinless chicken thighs for my chicken filling because it is juicier meat and it doesn't dry out as much as boneless, skinless chicken breast does. Now, if you don't like dark meat, you can always replace the chicken thighs with chicken breast. You just want to cut it into 1/2-inch strips and then cut it down into cubes that are between 1/4 and 1/2 inch thick. Set these to the side once you're finished cutting everything. Now, to make the marinade itself, you're going to grate 1/2 a yellow onion, large yellow onion. You can always blend this or put it in the food processor if you don't want to grate it. I'm lazy and I don't like making extra dishes. Add crushed garlic, sofrito, extra virgin olive oil, white wine vinegar, adobo, sazón, black pepper, and dried oregano leaves, and use your hand or a spoon to mix it together. Now, I use white wine vinegar because it's not as harsh as white distilled vinegar, but you can use that if that's all you have. Now add the diced chicken to the marinade and mix it in really well so that the chicken is entirely coated. Grab a gallon-size freezer-safe storage bag or a food storage bag and transfer the chicken filling or the marinated chicken into the bag. I always fold the top down so that the part where I have to test to seal it doesn't get any chicken guts on it. And then I wash my hands really well and come back and seal it. I make sure to press out all the air that's in the bag so that the chicken is the only thing that's marinating. Like there's no air taking up space in the bag. And then you can let this marinate for at least 4 hours or overnight is what I recommend. That is how you marinate your chicken. Now let's go ahead and cook the chicken filling. Heat a 7 or 8 quart caldero over medium-high heat. And once it's hot, add 2 tablespoons of that achiote oil that we made in the earlier episode. Once the achiote oil starts to shimmer in the pan, you want to add the remaining yellow onion that you've diced and some sofrito. Stir the aromatics in the pot and saute them for 2 to 3 minutes or until they become fragrant and translucent. And then you're going to add the marinated chicken to the pot, juice and all. Add everything from the bag to the pot and give it a stir. Brown the chicken for 10 minutes over medium-high heat, stirring it up to break up the meat so it doesn't, clump together. After about 10 minutes, stir it again to make sure no meat is still clumped together. And then you want to go ahead and add your tomato sauce to the pot. Also add your sliced olives I just wish all the olives would come out in one fell swoop, just once for me. Add capers and large bay leaves to the pot and give this all a stir. Bring this up to a rapid boil over medium-high heat and then reduce the temperature to medium-low. Cover the pot and simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. After the cooking time has elapsed, go ahead and give it another good stir. You see the liquid, that's going to be beneficial when we're assembling our pasteles. Give the filling a taste. You want to make sure that it's seasoned well enough. Make sure you get the broth and the chicken and taste it for, does it have enough adobo? Does it have enough sofrito? If it doesn't, go ahead and adjust it. Adjust it to your liking, but undersalt it just slightly because we boil the pasteles in salted water. Now you've just prepared your chicken filling for pasteles. Moving on to our pork filling for pasteles. One thing to note is that you are going to use one large onion for each of these filling recipes. You're going to cut it in half, and half of that onion is going to become the base of the marinade for marinating the meat. The rest of it is going to get diced, and you're going to put it into the filling itself while it cooks. Once you have those cut, go ahead and set them aside and grab your pork. Now, this is a boneless pork butt, or Boston butt is also how it's sold. What I'm going to do is cut it into 1/2-inch strips or slabs. And then once I cut it into 1/2-inch slabs, I'm going to cut those slabs into 1/2-inch strips and then cut them into dices that are between 1/4 and 1/2 an inch big. The goal is to cut them semi-big. I mean, 1/2 inch isn't that big, but they're going to cook down to a much smaller size. So transfer your cut pork cubes or pork meat to a bowl or some holding dish and grate 1/2 of that onion. Again, you can always do this in a blender or in a food processor, but washing a grater is a lot easier than washing a blender or a food processor to me. Next, add the sofrito, the extra virgin olive oil, white wine vinegar. Again, you can replace this with distilled vinegar, sazón, adobo, oregano leaves, black pepper, and crushed garlic. Use your hands or a spoon to give it a stir. I'm a hand person. I like using my hands. They're the best tools God gave me. Add the pork chunks to the marinade and stir very well to combine them. And then what you're going to do is the same process with the chicken. You're going to, after stirring it well, you're going to add it to a freezer storage bag or a food storage bag. Making sure you're getting all the marinade, everything in there. Go ahead and wash your hands, clean your stuff up, and seal the bag, pressing out any air. And now you just marinated your pork filling. Now to make the pork filling, you're going to take the same size caldero and over medium-high heat. You're going to heat some achiote oil, then add the remaining diced yellow onion, the sofrito, and you're going to give it a good stir. You want to saute these for 3 minutes or until translucent before you add the pork and all its liquids to the pot. Give this a stir and brown the pork meat for 10 minutes over medium-high heat. Go ahead and stir it again, always breaking up the meat, and add your tomato sauce to the pot. Add your sliced olives. Again, they don't all come out for me. Capers and bay leaves. Give this all a stir and allow the liquid to come up to a rapid boil before you turn it down to medium-low and stew it for 20 to 25 minutes. Give everything a good stir. Taste for seasoning, adjust as necessary or as needed. And you've just made your pork filling for your pasteles. The vegan filling is prepared slightly differently because we don't need to marinate anything. So bring your pot up to medium-high heat and add your achiote oil. Once the achiote oil is hot, you're going to add 1 yellow onion diced, 1 green bell pepper that's diced, 4 to 6 garlic cloves, depending on if you love garlic like I do, and sofrito. Give this all a stir and saute for 3 to 4 minutes. And then add your brown lentils to the pot, followed by the tomato sauce. Stir everything together to coat the lentils in the oil and the tomato sauce. And then you want to add vegetable stock. Now make sure your vegetable stock is vegan. In addition to the vegetable stock, you want to add your sliced olives, white wine vinegar, capers, adobo, sazón, and your bay leaves. You can also add oregano or black pepper. Bring this up to a boil and then reduce the heat to medium-low and simmer for 35 minutes. After 35 minutes, give it a taste. You want the lentils to be slightly al dente. They're going to continue to cook in the pasteles, so you don't want them too tender. And this is your vegan filling for pasteles. So, proof once again that you can make multitudes of fillings for your pasteles all by yourself. These fillings can go into any masa that you want them to go into. Let me answer some frequently asked questions I get about these filling recipes. All you need to do is use a meat that is similar in texture. If you want to substitute pork, you can replace it with beef stew, like what you would use for making beef stew. Lamb, bison, venison, and I'm not thinking of anything else, but something similar, a red meat that is somewhat tough. You don't want to use something that's too lean, because if you do, then you're going to have to add more oil or more fat to prevent it from drying out when it's cooking in the pasteles. You can replace the chicken in the chicken filling with a turkey, pigeon, squab. You can also use guinea fowl or guinea hen, and that's pretty much it. For the vegan filling, which I use lentils, you can replace it with gandules, which are pigeon peas, or you can replace it with jackfruit, firm tofu that you've diced, garbanzos or chickpeas, anything like that that has some sort of sustenance to it. You don't want to use something super mushy. Lentils cook quickly, which is why I like using them. I don't like using beans as a vegan filling because it's just the most popular replacement though is either lentils or jackfruit. Jackfruit mimics meat very well. You could also use impossible meat and make it like a picadillo filling, but when I'm eating vegan stuff, I don't want to pretend like it's meat. I want it to be something different. Those are the substitutes and how you can substitute different things for these fillings. You can make the fillings for your pasteles 2 to 3 months ahead. Allow them to cool completely, pack them into a freezer-safe storage bag, put them in your freezer, and you're done. You can do that before or after you cook them as well. Well, minus the lentils, because they're lentils and they cook quick. If you want to, you can season or marinate the chicken or the pork for your filling, and you can freeze the meat for 2 to 3 months in the freezer already marinated. That way, when you're ready to start your pasteles making session, you can pull them out 24 hours ahead so that they can thaw in the fridge and they're ready to go. So all you need to do is cook them. You actually do want your filling to be soupy. This is called guisado. What you want is you want some liquid in your filling before you add them to the masa, because you want that to help flavor the masa in your pasteles. You're going to take some of that and you'll see when we go to assemble the pasteles how beneficial the liquid in your filling is going to be later on. If you want to make your filling ahead of time, but you don't want to make it so far ahead that you have to freeze it, All you need to do is prepare it as instructed, allow it to cool slightly, put it in an airtight container and put it in the refrigerator for up to 2 days. Then when you're ready, you can just pop it out and go for it. You don't have to add the olives or the capers to any of these fillings. I do it because olives and capers give a brightness and a sort of umami to my fillings that I absolutely love. And I love olives anyways and capers. I love adding them to my fillings. If you don't like them, you can omit them completely. The tomato sauce is not something I would omit because you need to make this a stew so that you can add this liquid to your pasteles. That's how we, flavor, part of the way we flavor the masa of the pasteles. So the tomato sauce is kind of a non-negotiable, but the olives and the capers absolutely are. The sofrito, adobo, and sazón can all be found on my site, senseandedibility.com. The sofrito and adobo videos can be found on my playlist under Puerto Rican recipes. You really do have access to a lot of info on my channel because I care about you. That is how I make 3 different fillings for my pasteles. You can choose one or make all 3. I personally like to make chicken and pork because I like variety and we eat these throughout the year. So yeah, that's how I make them, and I make them all by myself. And I can do it in about 2 to 3 hours depending on how focused I am and how many burners I got going. Another way to show you that you can do this by yourself. I will see you for the next episode, which will be the assembly of the pasteles. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up to tell me that you liked it. Leave me a note in the comments below which filling is your favorite, which one you go to. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and sign up for notifications so that you can get notified when I post a new video, like the episode that's coming, which is how to assemble your pasteles. Thank you so much for joining me and watching. I hope to see you on the next episode. Bye.